Yes, good morning from here in Wall Street in New York, and I am being joined this morning, Dipti, by Mr. Srujal Parikh. I'm going to introduce him. He's the past president of Federation of Indian Associations from the New York, New Jersey and Connecticut areas, and he's also someone who works very closely with the New York Police Department. We've been listening to some of the excerpts, and I've shared some of the pointers that the Prime Minister made with him as well. And I think some of the biggest takeaways for us, at least from what the Prime Minister has said, is that India is waiting for you. And India should be your destination, and if there's any gap that you see, I will bridge that gap. And I think that's the biggest assurance. If you heard the question and answer, the Q&A session from those people who are asking questions of the Prime Minister on several issues, he came around and assured them on each and every aspect of it. Srujal, what were your takeaways from what the Prime Minister said?
I think, Niranjan, we have, India is in a really unique position currently, and like we said, we have our main source of income is 50% is service business, and Prime Minister has been doing a wonderful job meeting the world leaders, so that will help India's service sector very well. And I think this is a very important from people of India and people of India with the business, that this visit will help India and Indian businesses very well.
Just some of the highlights, Dipti, for all our viewers. I've taken down about 15 to 20 points. I'd like to reiterate them, so bear with me for a minute or two while I take our viewers through what the Prime Minister has said here in New York at the Bloomberg Business Forum 2019. A host of business leaders, some of the biggest names in business with him in the audience. And here's what the Prime Minister said. He said it's a golden opportunity for the world to invest in India. He says India is in a unique position. And he spoke about how he says, come to my India. He says, come to my India. That's the pitch that he made there at the Bloomberg Business Forum. If you want to invest in a market where the latest trends in the future are appreciated, come to India. He said roadmap has been set into the works. The Prime Minister says the roadmap for a quantitative and qualitative leap in our economy has been set into motion. Now, he's highlighting the India story, Srujal, as he speaks. He says we have the capability, the conditions and the courage, because he was repeatedly questioned on the $5 trillion economy. And this is what he said. He said we have the capability, the conditions and the courage. Capability, conditions and courage. And it's a bold statement being made by the Prime Minister, because even back home, a lot of cynics, and here, when people questioned him on how he aims to get to the $5 trillion economy, he said, listen, see the words he uses. He says we have the capability, the conditions and the courage to get there.
He came up as a very strong leader, and currently if you see his position in the world, it's become very unique in the way that he's been trusted, and what he says he really implement in the real economy. So I think that trust he built during his tendency of 4 years, that will help bring all the investor back to India, and the stability of the economy and stability of the government, that create that investor to come to India as well. So I truly believe that what he has said, that come to India, that he means a lot for that.
Okay, fine. And some of the factors that he highlighted, the Prime Minister's mantra, in fact, this is something that really resonates with the global audience. Dipti, he said, and I quote, he said, he spoke about the 4 factors that make India's growth story, that define India's growth story, the 4 factors being democracy, demography, demand and decisiveness. Now, on all factors, you go through each one of them. Democracy, the largest democracy, and demography, of course, we have a diverse demography, a demand from all quarters of 1.3 billion, and the decisiveness. As far as decisiveness is concerned, this government needs no introduction, because they've taken some bold steps, including recently the more recent corporate tax reform that has resonated with the corporate world. And I'm going to read out some of the excerpts of that. Now, he talks about the toughest, biggest of the big, toughest of the tough action for clean business. He says the people of India are standing with a government that is working to improve the business environment by taking the biggest of the big and toughest of the tough action. He says India is the perfect match, the Prime Minister said, and he highlighted how, and he said, I quote, your desires and our dreams match perfectly. Your technology and our talent can change the world. our scale and our steels can speed up economic growth. Your prudent methods and sharp pragmatic minds can write new stories. And he assured, saying, I will personally act as a bridge. Now, what more can be a bigger statement of intent than this, Deepti? We'll take a short break, but I think the Prime Minister, speaking at the Bloomberg Business Forum, has made a very bold statement. In the audience, some of the biggest names from around the world, and he's said to them, come to my India, make it happen.